Hi, my name's Dave, and you're listening to episode 56 of On the Bench, the fortnightly podcast by scale modelers for scale modelers. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, and all good podcast apps. Fine Scale Modeler is proud to support On the Bench. Fine Scale Modeler is the world's most recognised and essential magazine, and is available in all good newsagents and newsstands, or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, go to their website www.finescale.com and subscribe to either a print edition or the digital edition. Or why not treat yourself to both? Go now. Go to www.finescale.com. And a resounding huzzah for our latest Patreon supporter, Jay Masters. It is the support of people like Jay who help us to offset our publishing, production, and equipment costs. You too can become a legend like Jay by going to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 upwards. Your support is greatly appreciated by both myself and the team. And welcome to the show, Ian.
G'day, Dave. G'day, listeners.
And Julian.
Hello.
How are we, guys?
Fantastic.
Have we all recovered from the podcast from Melbourne Expo?
Melbourne Model Expo. Yeah, well, of course, I was the one who got the obligatory post-Expo lurgy.
Oh, no.
So, but I'm pretty much over that now.
Yep.
Well, it didn't feel crooked. Yeah, just annoying.
Well, you're looking fighting fit, so...
Yeah.
I heard a few people got sick.
Same here, yeah. I've heard a few people got the lurgy.
I read somewhere this guy, he was walking around in the swap and sell, and he said, not a very good day to be up here when I've just started to get a cold. And I thought, well, why would you go and spread your...
I reckon he probably just said it just to get a reaction from everyone.
I don't know.
Say it loud enough. And a good way to get people to stay away from you while you can negate your way through the crowd.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Only if they know about it.
Well, if you told people, not a good day to get a cold, well, everyone's going to spread out away. Well, unlike me, I had my battering ram.
You did. The great big kit, boom, get out of my way.
Yeah. Those Fujimi ship kits are very, very handy when you want to get through a crowd.
So have we actually been doing any modelling since we got back?
Very little.
I've actually started something.
Well, I actually got some yellow down on me Musaru Cup build.
Oh, how's it going?
Yeah, got the yellow put down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's one colour.
So it's all assembled?
No.
Oh.
Painted all the sub-assemblies.
Okay.
And most of it's all different colours and it just all clips together at the end anyway.
You got to post some photos in progress.
Yeah, once I got something that decent to post, it's just boxes of bits at the moment.
Well, that's generally how they do look, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got this thing that looks like a skeleton, and then all the actual parts that go on the outside.
Correct. Yeah. So, but no. Well, once I get into once it's painted, and I start assembling and weathering. Yeah, I'll definitely put some pictures up. But,
all right, definitely.
But no, I got sidetracked by thanks to my neighbour Russell. Terrific bloke as a neighbour. He just lent me 23 of the original Godzilla movies. So. I've been, my eyeballs have been pretty much glued to the television screen watching the old classic Godzilla movies. Good fun.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been... The only thing I've been really doing is the A7, Corsair that I won in the club raffle. I started building that.
Yep.
48 scale Hobby Boss, I think it is. And it comes with all these bits of...
resin?
Yeah.
How's that going?
Yeah, not too bad so far. I'm trying to figure out how to hide some of the gaps or it doesn't fit in the fuselage. So I'm just gonna get some plastic art in there and it'll look alright, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm also trying to figure out, because I've got your little voice in the back of my head, Julian.
Okay.
Where whether to paint it before I actually install it or install it first the fuselage and then paint it.
What interior?
No. Of the resin wheel wells and that.
Oh, right, yep.
And all I can hear is Julian's little voice. Just paint what you can see, because you won't be able to see it otherwise. And I go, oh, jeez.
might work out for you. Might not.
Well, I don't know. I'm
Depends on how complicated the area is to mask from the inside, doesn't it?
to mask. Oh, after I've painted it, yeah.
Because if you paint it before you install it,
Yeah, I know.
then you got to mask it when you paint the exterior of the plane.
We could do the same afterwards anyway. I know. I guess you can,
It's easier to mask around a hole than to mask the
True.
inside of it.
True. I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out.
Too true.
I'll have to figure it out. What have you been up to, Julian?
I've been working on my French Sherman that I bought at Expo.
Oh, Shantae.
Yeah, so I bought a little. I got so far with it, and then I stopped because I ordered in some aftermarket things. I bought a metal barrel. I bought some photo etch for the guards that go over the headlights
Oh, yeah.
and taillights.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually got. It was who was it from? Might be Orange Hobby, I think. Anyway, they sell just the headlight guards. And they sell them by themselves, but they also sell them with a little jig for you to bend them up in.
Oh, that's
They give you 3 little jigs
Very clever.
so that you can just bend them all up the right way. You just
See, that's what modelling companies should do. That is
know.
perfect.
Well, see, it's not for everyone, right? But I went in for it because I know I'm probably going to build more Shermans in the future. Like,
So you can just reuse a jig again and again and again.
yeah,
Perfect.
yep. So that's and then the next hurdle is little things like masking up the vision periscope type things and
oh, right. Yep.
and the suspension. So the Tasker kit is it has if you buy the later ones, you get like a little plastic thing that goes inside the bogies for the suspension.
Mm-hmm.
But the earlier ones, which is I think this is an earlier kit, it's got these little like essentially they give you a small piece of spongy fabricy stuff.
All right.
And you're supposed to put like 3 of these inside each bogie, and it acts as suspension.
Okay.
So apparently it works.
Unusual.
Apparently the problem is if you've got too much tension on your tracks, if they're too tight, it lifts the front wheel up a bit.
I see. Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I'll figure it out. I think I'll just put some card in there and just block it up.
Yeah, make it rigid.
Yeah, make it rigid. I mean that's how I prefer.
You're not playing
to do it.
with it anyway. Once it's built, it
Yeah.
goes on the shelf. Anyway.
But like all the, I did mention that when I was judging at Expo, I came across quite a few Shermans that had track issues. You know, tracks that were too loose or weren't.
Oh,
fitting
were you
properly.
judging the Shermans, were you?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, you'd be harsh.
Why?
Well, because you know your Sherman's inside out, you'd be really on the ball.
No, I judge them all the same.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're judging armor,
Yeah.
one of the easy ways to eliminate the competition, so to speak. I mean, not do you go in there to eliminate it, but it's one of the things that separates a lot of
The wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, are the tracks straight?
Yep.
And do they conform around the wheels? Do they conform around the sprocket? That sort of thing, As long as you get, like, if you're going to muck up anywhere on an armor kit, it's probably where they're going to muck up, right? So that's the first thing you look at. Are they straight? Are they properly curving around? All that sort of thing. And if you've got rubber tracks, then you've got that sort of springiness that you have to deal with, right? So one of the things about the Tasker kit that automatically helps out a lot with this is the fact that, much like the real tank, you can move the idler to tension the tracks.
You love the Tasker kit, don't you?
I do. I mean, a lot of kits would just go, okay, well, here's a little rod axle thing that you put the idler on, then put your tracks over it. That it's not necessarily.
Well, it's a clever idea, isn't it? So,
but anyone who's built
tension it, well,
but anyone who's built a any kind of armor kit will often have issues where they're like, it's a bit tight if I've got 96 tracks, track links, right? But if I put 97 in, it looks way too loose.
Yeah.
The classic armor builders. I mean, it's easier if you've got like a German or a Russian tank where you've got big sagging, right? Big sagging on the return, because then you can hide it. It's not a problem.
But with your tight tracks like your Shermans,
yeah, exactly.
you ain't got, and it's not like they've got a skirt down the side, so you got nowhere to hide it.
So generally, most people prefer individual link or link and length, on most of their kits, and that works well.
I do. I reckon they're great
for the German and the Russian stuff. But when you've got a taut track and you can see all of it, not like modern tanks where you got skirts that hide the return, where it comes back around on the top.
Yep.
But if it's all exposed, then you really need rubber tracks to get nice taut tracks.
Yep. I
There's
understand.
there's no sag there.
Yep.
Not on American tanks.
Yep.
On Shermans and like Stewarts and things.
Yep. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So I got so many, like, coming through all the aftermarket. There's so many Shermans I want to make out there. At the moment, so the one I'm making at the moment is an early one. It's got the cast hull.
Yep.
And I want to, I've got one I got a Shelf Queen, which has like a full resin interior in it. That's also a Tasca kit, but that's been sidelined.
Well, I've got a lovely surprise for you later on, because in What's New there's a Sherman you can look at.
Okay.
So that'll make you happy.
Maybe.
Cool. Groovy.
Have you noticed that, like, because for the longest time there was just the Dragon kits.
Yep.
Then the Tasca kit came along, and I was like, oh, that's it. This is the one we need. It's got all the variants. They had like a guy who really knew his Shermans to consult on it, so they got all the accuracy perfect. And now,
But here's the thing: I don't see how you can not get the accuracy perfect, because there's so many Shermans running around. I mean, it's not like it's a rare sort of one-off tank.
yeah, but there was a lot of tiny little tweaks and changes and things
Yeah, I know,
like
but
that, and various types and.
But it just staggers me how model manufacturing get that wrong in this day and age.
Mm. Well, so there's a few new kits. There's the Meng kit, that's a very specific type of kit,
Is it?
It's one of the later ones.
Okay.
Yeah. You can make a French one out of that too, apparently.
Oh, Shantae.
There you go.
Yeah, that's like one of the ones I want to do eventually. Is one of those ones with the Hessian. Is it camouflage type stuff on it? They're like little strips of fabric or whatever. All over it.
all rolled up.
Yeah, so you can get like a whole resin upper hull
All rolled
of
up.
that from Panzer Art.
Yep.
And a turret to go with it. And they had those on Fireflies as well.
Yes. Yeah, the
Right.
British had them on the Fireflies.
So it's not. I still need to make a Firefly as well.
Mm-hmm.
Love to make a Firefly.
You haven't made a Firefly yet.
No.
That surprises me.
Yeah. Well, it's not like a
Probably one of the better tanks in the Sherman model.
Yeah.
Well, I had the better gun.
Well, that's true.
It's a bigger gun.
A much bigger gun. Didn't they have to put it on its side?
No. That was the 76mm gun that they put.
I always thought
the
the Firefly, what is it?
The 17 pounder.
17 pounder actually had to put on its side to get it to fit.
No, not to my knowledge. They did have to like cut out the back of the turret and make that longer.
Yeah.
To fit it in.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, wasn't a turret cast? So how are they going to cut the back of the turret out?
Well, they cut it out and they lengthened it.
Didn't they cut? Oh, I'm thinking of
They also cut a hole in the top so that because it's much more cramped in there with that bigger gun. That they wanted another hatch, because the earlier Shermans only had one hatch for the commander.
Yep.
And the guy who was aiming the gun couldn't get out or whatever. I think either the gunner or the loader. He couldn't get out very easily. I mean, he couldn't in the first place, but after the bigger gun, it was even more so. So they cut a hole there and they put another hatch in.
Not for the lighthearted.
You've got to wonder, man, how many hard lessons they learnt, how they learnt that lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops.
Yep. And also, it's not like the Americans didn't know about the 17 pounder. They evaluated a 17 pounder Firefly, and they decided, yeah, that's a bit too much. That's too much gun. We'll put a better gun in it, but not that one. Part of it was logistics, but
well, yeah, interesting.
Yep.
I could rattle on for a long time.
You could.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, first of all, let's congratulate you on your two placings at the show.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Oh, one of them was a placing. The other one was a sort of thanks for building an Edward kit.
Oh,
best Edward kit. That's a good feather in the cap for the show.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I get two little things to. Yeah.
So yeah, well done.
Well, yeah.
Dave, you got a third.
I got a third. So I was happy.
Congratulations.
Wasn't expecting that. So.
No.
And of course, you got a commendation.
Yeah, I got a thanks for coming.
That's all right. Next year, the Shikaku's going in.
Yes.
See, I'm not even going to put anything in that in the ship section next year.
Why not?
I'll see what the Shikaku's like, and I know that there's
Well,
no
who knows?
way.
Maybe a lot of people have seen it and gone, "That's it. I'm building the carriers." And then who knows? Maybe next year there might be a heap of carriers.
No, that's true. Never thought of that.
Well, there's not to say that you can't win without a carrier.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, true.
Very true.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens next year anyway.
Yes.
Well, actually, I have a question. So would you put your USS England in that as well?
Of course.
Oh, you could end up with a first and a second.
Well, it depends who's judging.
Yeah, that's true.
Depends what, and it all depends what else is in there.
What will you say if you get a first for the one that you like less?
It's up to the judges. It's up to the judges.
Because I know
what
you
they
like
do.
the USS England more, don't you?
Well, I like the USS England more because I actually did a lot more scratch building on that.
Mm.
And as we know, that was a very long project, 2.5 years.
Which is actually longer than Shikaku.
Yeah, the Shikaku was 9 months, but
Yeah.
that was solid 9 months from start to finish.
Yeah.
Whereas England, I put away for a while and then popped back in there. And but no, I was really I like the England. It's a great looking little ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, those two will definitely go in. And if I got time, I might do another ship for Expo next year.
Wow. You really... I would have thought you'd been shipped out.
Nah, I've made a start on the Tamiya King George V a while ago, and then put it back in the box.
Okay.
So I might hook back into that.
Mm-hmm.
Have a British ship in my collection. Not sure where the hell I'm going to put it.
Maybe you should build a Sherman.
Well, funny you should say. I've got one of my shelf queens is the Dragon.
Oh yeah, the
M51. I think.
the Super Sherman.
Yeah, the Isherman. What do they call it? The Israeli one.
Yeah, the Israeli one with the big gun.
AMX gun in it or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm.
It's
Because that's all pretty much hull and everything's done. It's just, I don't know, for some reason I put it aside and
I do remember what the issue was. It was the guards on the
guards,
front.
yes. For some reason, Dragon gives you photo etch guards and you fold them up and they're flat, so they don't actually follow the contour of the front of the gearbox.
Oh, jeez. Good old Dragon.
But yeah.
Sometimes they're on song and sometimes they're not.
Because I've got 2 shelf coins at the moment. I really should do something about it. I've got that and I've got the Wingnut Wings Junkers monoplane.
You started that, didn't you?
Yeah, I made a start on that.
Yeah.
But then I had all sorts of disasters using the metal paints from AK. Just for some reason, they just beat it up all the time.
Wow.
And I got sick of it and put it aside.
Strip it.
I've done it twice, stripped it twice.
Oh, see.
Just go back to Outglad.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it is I did the undercoat using guns. So to strip it, you just get some Guns thinners on a rag and just wash the thing, and doesn't affect the plastic. It just takes the paint off.
It's got those corrugated wings though. Don't you? You have to get out like a toothbrush or something.
No, just use a rag. Just wipe over it twice and it's gone. It's back to plastic. It's a good thing about Guns thinners and Guns paint. You get rid of the paint straight away.
Oh, dear. We've got a heap of listener mail to get through.
Oh,
I reckon we'll pile into that.
Yep.
And we've got a heap of announcements about upcoming shows as well. So then we'll pile into that. So let me start with the first one. It's George Rendell from Illinois in the US.
Hey, George.
Hi, guys. Love the podcast. Just started listening this week. Never really listened to podcasts before, but you guys have me hooked.
Oh.
I've already gone back to listen to your previous ones. I really like listening to you while I model. Just finished listening to your Model Show podcast, and he poses a question to us. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on model kit prices towards the end of a show? Do you feel it's worth the chance to wait till the end of the show to pick something up on the chance you'll get it cheaper because it's one less thing than the vendor has to pack up and bring home, or just go ahead and purchase during the show?
Yeah, well, yes. Buying at the end of the show, usually a lot of the vendors do like to drop the prices, but you also run the risk of that kit you wanted by the end of the show is gone.
Exactly right.
Is gone, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because not everyone turns up for all 3 days.
Well,
no.
Well, a lot of the shows over, in the States and that, they're only for 2 days.
Only for 2 days.
Or 1 day.
In fact, I'm going to talk, Nathan has been back and forwarding with me on Facebook, and because he does judging as well. I'll get to his story because it's really interesting the way they do some of the shows overseas, actually.
Good.
But, I would see, I'd look at a kit, I'd quickly pull up my phone and see if the price is comparable with what you can buy in a shop.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, then I'll just put my hand in my pocket and buy it.
Yeah, because I noticed, Julian, you did that over the Expo.
Yep.
There was a kit someone was talking about, and you got on your phone and checked it out, the different price between what they had at the show and what they had on at B&A or something.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
I think it was nearly $20 difference.
Yeah, it can be.
What was it? $20 more expensive at the show? Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, because
wow.
some of the you got to think that with the vendors too is there's a lot of people that come to a show that aren't regular model builders.
Yeah.
And they'll see a nice kit on the table and they'll go, oh, I'm going to try my hand at that.
Yep.
And these people don't know the prices of kits, and that's why the prices are always up a little bit.
Yep.
Plus, they need to recuperate some money because usually the vendors have to fork out a bit of money to get a stall or a table.
Yep.
And travel costs.
Yep, travel costs, storage, and all that.
And they're usually paying their employees to be there as well to help them understand.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I bought a couple of brand new kits at Expo, too. On the spur of the moment, I like that. I'll buy it. Didn't really worry about the cost, but yeah,
If you're cost conscious, then by all means,
wait for a swap meet, swap and sell.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
It is a
online.
balancing act.
But if you
for-
see something you've never seen before and you go, oh, that looks interesting.
yeah, like that figure I purchased.
Yeah, well,
How often do you see a scantily clad cave woman reclining against a triceratops? Best of both worlds.
and also, George, we're only on this planet for one trip, so you know what? Don't go home with modeller's remorse. Just go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, and you can't take your money with you.
Also, like if you're of the mindset of, I want to support my local hobby shop, there's no better time to buy than at a show, I suppose.
Yeah, if your local hobby shop's there, and a lot of the times the local hobby shops are there.
Yeah. Because it also
works well.
encourages them to come back.
Correct, yeah. Totally agree, yeah.
Yep, that's true. That's very true. All right, George, there you go. And by the way, thanks for the email too. Really appreciate it.
That's great.
Next up, we have... This really took me by surprise. Hi, gang. I'm a lady modeller from across in South Africa. Just discovered your podcast. It's awesome. Can't wait to commute to work these days so I can tune into you guys. Thanks for a great program. And that's from Karen Fox.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
It's funny, I did a quick check, and there's only 2 people in South Africa that listen to us. So one's
Karen's
Karen,
one of them.
and they're both one's in the northern part of South Africa,
All right, yep.
and the other one's sort of down. So I don't know which one you are, Karen, which part of South Africa you're from, but hello and welcome to the show, and thanks for the email.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, the next email is... it's from Nathan Kogel, Coghill, and sorry, Nathan, if I pronounced that wrong. Nathan originally wrote to me, and he was a bit concerned about painting his model and stuffing it up because he doesn't use an airbrush. And he's been given these kits as gifts, and I wrote back to him and said, what's your issue in regards to stopping you using an airbrush and everything? I'm pretty confident that, once you start with an airbrush, you'll do a good job. And I also suggested to him that perhaps that with his big projects like his bombers and that he's building, maybe go to a club and, get some tips there from how to use an airbrush and that sort of thing. Well, Nathan writes back, and it turns out that Nathan not only lives in the middle of nowhere, which is the Eye of Scalpay, or Scalpay in Scotland.
Oh, wow.
Which is right up on the northwest, this little island northwest of Scotland.
Yep.
So, all the bitter Arctic winds.
I was about to say, yes, very windy place and cold as in winter, yes.
So he says, it's a bit hard for me to get to a club because I've got to catch a ferry and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
But then his other problem, he's only 13, so he hasn't got the sort of financial means to sort of run up and purchase all that sort of stuff.
If he's brush painting, depends what brush paints he's using. I remember years ago, I was told by an experienced modeller that if you're using and I know being in Scotland, he'd be able to get Humbrol paints.
Yeah.
Well, warm them up. If you're brush painting, warm your Humbrol paints up.
So what, like get some boiling water and just warm hot water or boiling water or
bit of freshly boiled water
Yep.
and just put them in there for about 5 minutes, and that warms the paint up. Use a wide flat brush, and then just do thin coats. And what you'll find is when the paint's nice and warm, is it tends to level itself out.
Oh, well, there
and
you
you
go.
won't get as many paint streaks running through it, or brush strokes, I should say.
Terrific.
Alternatively, there are rattle cans.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're expensive though.
yeah,
I mean,
rattle
you know.
cans can be expensive. Yeah,
And you can be hit and miss with what you get on. Sometimes they might
correct.
spatter and all that
yes,
sort of stuff.
Yes.
It also depends on how big this thing is.
Yep.
If it's like if he's been gifted, like say, for example, one of those Airfix 24th scale aircraft.
Well, he's got-
rattle can would probably.
or a
He's
Vulcan
got
bomber.
he's got a Airfix Avro Lancaster, the B Dam Buster Special.
Yep.
He's got an Armstrong Whitworth Whitley. It's a great little kit in 72nd scale also. And I believe he's also got another one he's working on. I have to dig
Yep.
through the
A number 2 flat brush.
B26B Marauder.
Yep.
He's on the bench at the moment.
A number 2 flat brush should do those nicely.
Okay.
It's wide, but it's not going to be too wide, and you'll be able to nicely do the camouflage edges.
Yeah, and maybe be mindful of once you've painted it, put it somewhere where no dust will fall
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, get like a box and just put a box over the top of it and wait for it, because if you're using Humbrolls, that stuff takes a while to dry,
Yeah,
especially if he's modelling in winter.
yeah. Also
That can
prevents
take forever to dry.
prevents the fumes of.
Yes. That
enamel
way,
paint.
his mum's not going to get on his case. Like when I was a youngster, my mother used to really get on my case and boot me out into the freezing cold garage to do my painting when I used the old Humbrolls.
A cheaper way of getting into the airbrushing side of things, because as I suggested to Nathan, airbrushes are relatively cheap nowadays. I mean, you can pick it up for 20.
Yeah, it's not just the airbrush. You've got to get your compressor.
Yeah, but
and that's where your cost is.
true. But a way around that is maybe do the old trick where you get an old
in a tube.
no, not in a tube, although that would work. Use the old an old diver's tank and fill it full of compressed air.
Yeah. Well, I remember
Well-
years ago I had a G-size bottle, like an oxyacetylene bottle,
Yep.
but it was just oxygen.
Yep.
And that was great. G-size, it was pretty big though, and that,
Yep.
that lasted 6 months.
Seriously?
Yeah. With
Because
the
it still
airbrush.
comes out through the regulator and
Yeah.
everything, so you're not going to... Yeah, that's...
But then again, him being on an island, it's going to be a bit difficult to. And a 13, like I can't see a
To go and get it filled
13-year-old slugging a G-size oxy bottle on his handlebars of his push bike and going down to the local gas place.
I would say it's probably like I said. You said the airbrush is very cheap, right? You can get them as cheap as $20, which is
Yeah.
It's at £10 there.
that's like an expensive sandwich,
Yeah.
right?
Hassle your parents out for Christmas and birthdays.
Right, but you might know someone who has a compressor that you can borrow for the afternoon.
There's nobody else on the island, I think.
Well, an island tends to be fairly self-sufficient. There's
Well,
probably,
it depends how small the island is. Might be 1 or 2 families.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's no reason
It could
why
be more sheep than people. You know?
I had a look at some pictures of the island. It's pretty windswept.
Okay.
It's not much up there.
Well,
But you're right. Ask around, yeah. Because any compressor would do, as long as you can get your airbrush fitting
compressor
onto
will
it,
do.
and as long as it's got the water trap on it,
Yeah.
it'd work.
But until then, use a number 2 flat brush.
Yep, absolutely.
And if you're using Humbrol paint, warm it up first.
And if there's anybody else out there in the UK who has further ideas or suggestions for Nathan, you can send them on to me, and I'll get you in contact with Nathan. And
Or if one of our listeners in the UK has got a spare airbrush they want to get rid of, they can help him out. Get in contact with us, and we'll get in contact with him. And we're all in one big community.
An old
We'll
worn-out
help.
airbrush is still good for a beginner.
Exactly.
So drop us a line on the bench 64@gmail.com,
Yep.
and we'll forward any things that come through.
Yep. And good to hear from you, Nathan.
Rightio. The next email I got, or the last one I think it is from, and Hector, I apologise if I'm not pronouncing this right, but it is Hector Colon, Colon. Oh, my English is terrible. You wouldn't think it's my first language, would you?
Doesn't surprise me with you, Dave.
And Hector writes that just listen to the special episode about Melbourne Model Expo. I really need to get over there one year. Thank you for another good episode, and also for mentioning my club show on an upcoming episode. If any of you ever make it to the Windy City, make sure you look me up.
We will.
Hector is from the Butch O'Hare Model Club.
Oh, that's a pretty decent name, Butch O'Hare.
Yeah, I know. That's a flashy name for a model club.
Yeah.
I reckon it's an excellent name for a model club.
Isn't there an airport named after Butch?
I'm
pretty sure there is.
There's the O'Hare.
Yeah, which is named after Butch O'Hare. Pretty sure he flew Wildcats.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure he did. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did.
So if I can just get my computer working again.
Now, here we go. Dave's going to sit there and muck up the English language again.
No, I'm not.
You can't find things on the internet because you can't spell.
I can... No, actually, spelling's not one of my strong suits either. I'm just going to find... here we go. So, let's move forward now and we'll jump straight into upcoming shows and seeing Hector sent us the email. He was wanting us to spruik the 37th annual Butch O'Hare Chapter Open Model Contest, which is being held on Saturday the 9th of November 2019. The theme of the show is going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of man landing on the moon.
Ooh.
The show is going to be held at the Holiday Inn Itasca, 860 Irving Park Road, Itasca, Illinois. Entry cost is $10 for an adult over 17. For your first 4 models and each additional model... Gee, that's cheap. Your first 4 models, $10. That's not bad entry.
All right. Yeah,
and each
good.
additional model is $4. Spectator fees, $5 for adults 17 and over. And juniors are in for $1. Now, the event time... Oh, there we go. Timetable, 7 a.m. setup. 8 a.m. early bird sales start. Doors open to the public at 9. 11 a.m. got a raffle. 12 o'clock noon registration closes. 4 p.m. the awards are announced. And at 5 the show closes and everybody needs to be out by 6 p.m. So there you go. The Butch O'Hare chapter of IPMS USA. Go along and check out their show on the 9th of September. So thanks for that, Hector. Rightio. I've got a whole heap of other ones to... Oh, man, I've got so much paper. Whoops, and just smashed the microphone.
Doing well, aren't you?
I'm doing really well. You know what? I'm going to give you guys one of these each so you can sort of read them out because my voice is getting a bit so...
And I didn't bring me glasses with me.
Oh,
Great.
didn't you?
Thanks,
Okay.
mate.
Well, how about I'll give you... Oh, no, I can't give you that one. You go first, Julian.
Sure. The Sydney Scale Model Show. St Mary's RSL, Hall Street. What else? Any necessary information here? Because so you can email them. You can find them on Facebook or.
So what sort of model show is it?
It's just a general model show, I believe.
You
It's got pictures of tanks and ships and
Oh,
planes
cool.
and cars and things and plenty of on-site parking, close to public transport. SydneyScaleModelShow.net, or you can email them. SydneyScaleModelShow@gmail.com, or you can find them on Facebook.
Lovely.
Very
And
simple.
Well, this isn't actually a show. This is down here in Victoria, Australia. On Sunday the 18th of August, it's the IPMS Annual Plastic Model Swap and Sell. And this is usually a pretty big event. It's held at the 13th Malvern Scout Group Hall, which is at 3 Oak Grove in Malvern, East Victoria. It's 9 a.m. for traders set up and 10 a.m. for public admission. Admission prices are $5 per person, and if you want to be a trader, you're looking at about $30 per table. Now, I can tell you, I've been to a few of these swap and sales from the IPMS, and there's a lot of very good bargains. So, yeah, probably worth in the area. Pop in and have a look-see.
all right. The 24th Annual Queensland Model Hobbies and Expo and Scale Modelling Championships, 24th to 25th August 2019. It's going to be held at Red Bank, Collingwood Park Sports Complex, 235 Smiths Road, Red Bank, Queensland. $10 for adults to get in, children 5. Open Saturday 9 a.m. till 5 and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they're saying there's going to be thousands of models on display.
Well, I haven't been to the Queensland Model Show, but I've seen some pictures on Facebook from some of the stuff there, and got to say, those Queenslanders are quite talented bunch of people there.
Yep.
Do some very nice work.
Next up is me again. Sci-fi and fantasy model competition here in Victoria. It is being held at the Melton Scout Hall, 3rd Melton Scout Hall, corner of Smith and Henry Street, Melton. Categories include Gundams, sci-fi fantasy vehicles, sci-fi and fantasy figures, busts, dioramas, wargaming. You can find them at IPMS Australia blogspot. And all to do with sci-fi and fantasy. Sounds like an interesting one.
Yeah. Bit of a drive from us.
Oh, not too bad. Better than going interstate.
Yes.
And speaking of interstate, Scale ACT 19 is going to be on the 9th and 10th of November 2019 at the UC High School, Kalen, which is 108 Baldwin Avenue, Kalen, Australian Capital Territory. Come and see model displays, demonstrations, competitions, swap and sell. For more details and information on this show, go to www.actsms.asn.au.
Yeah, and the good thing about the Canberra Model Show is if you make it a big weekend, you can pop your head into the Australian War Memorial.
Oh, you need a full day just to walk around that now.
Oh, you need 2 days to go around that, actually. That's such a huge joint.
I have a correction to make. So, in reading these two things, the Sydney Scale Model Show is on Saturday, the 7th of September. It's really important when you include the day.
Yeah, it is really important.
It's kind of necessary information that I forgot there. And the Sci-Fi Fantasy Model Competition is on the 27th of October.
Terrific.
Jeez, full year.
Oh, it is.
Huge year.
Now, one other thing, we've got some questions that came to us on Facebook. And Craig Utley has asked a question. Any chance of some advice on tinting canopies, preferably without an airbrush?
Ooh, jeez, that's a difficult one. The only thing I could think of, and I've never tried it, and I don't know if anyone who has tried it, is if you're using Future or something, maybe put a tiny drop of acrylic paint or something in there, like a smoke colour or something translucent, and then when you dip it in there.
What if you...
That's the thought. I don't want to ruin anyone's canopies, but that's just the thought. Like if you tint the Future or whatever, if you got Future or the Australian equivalent of Future, which is what? Pledge.
Yeah.
If you don't have access to those floor polishes, which I would not want to use, but apparently it's very good for that, even if you're not the kind of person to use it as a clear coat. There is a product from AK Interactive. Comes in like an orange jar. Forgot what it's called though. It's got a really peculiar, weird name. Mm-hmm. But that's designed for dipping canopies and things.
Oh, yeah. And I suppose if you can find a paint that's not going to react with it.
Yeah.
And you dip your canopy in that, where you're going to tint it.
Yeah.
But you want to go like the normal tinting's either going to be a green or a browny, smoky coloured tint. You just if you can find some like Tamiya or
because brushes are out completely.
Oh no, you cannot. No, you'll never be able to get
possible.
that done with brush. No,
because I mean, like the way you sort of make up for inconsistent coverage with a brush is by just brushing more on until it's all opaque.
Yeah, and then you may as well have just painted the inside of your canopy black.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work. Like you can work that on a regular plane, but you can't work it on the canopies.
No.
No.
What about if you got some Tamiya smoke paint, you thinned it, and put it in a separate little like jar or something,
and dipped it,
and then dipped the canopy in that?
These ideas, find some scrap things first. Yeah. Try them out.
Get old paint.
Don't do what we say to a brand new kit because we haven't done it before.
Yeah.
I haven't read of anyone doing it before without an airbrush, but yeah, they're worth testing. Testing out on it. If you've got an old crappy kit in your stash that you're normally going to use as like an airbrush tester or something.
Yeah.
Do that.
Even dipping, you're going to have some problems because after you dip it, the majority of that, whatever you've dipped it in, is going to collect somewhere, down the bottom somewhere. So you've got to make sure that you've got it positioned in such a way that it drips to an area that you can, like where the canopy framing is.
Exactly, where the framing is, that you can clean it up and paint over the top.
Yeah, that'd be a perfect way of doing it.
Yep.
Or a perfect way of trying it anyway.
I mean, it's hairy no matter which way.
Exactly. Well, there's some ideas we gave you.
Yeah, Craig. So have a crack at them on an old paint mule. Let us know how you go, or for that matter, if anybody else has ever tried it, let us know, and we'll certainly pass the information on.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned before that Ethan Idenmill, who happens to be one of our Patreons, he wrote me on Facebook, and he was saying, just listen to your podcast from the Melbourne show, alas, I have judged the last 6 IPMS US Nationals. Whoa. And fully intend to do it again this year. And he was replying because I said that our judges here in Melbourne get pizza. And I jokingly sort of made the remark on the last show that maybe in the US they get ribs as a way. And he writes back and says, only if we had ribs or pizza or burgers. When I judged in Loveland, Colorado, had lots of drinks and snacks. Similar 2 years ago in Omaha. I don't recall anything in Phoenix last year. His understanding is that because it shifts from city to city, each convention centre has its own policies and prices regarding what food can be brought in and so forth. It's a bit of a mixed bag. He did think that it was a great idea that the judges got a kit.
The raffle.
The raffle, yeah. And each judge sort of walked away with a kit.
Yeah, when I used to do judging, we never had that.
So he's going to recommend that to his next IPMS.
It's a good idea, and those kits are donated, and not many of them are very good kits.
Oh, right. So they like the old Hasegawa 1/100 scale aircraft and stuff. I mean, to me, a 1/100 scale aircraft.
A lot of them are
70s.
72nd scale aircraft that are like slightly older kits, you know. The vast majority of them in that sort of realm.
And if you recall from our last episode, we're speaking to Lawrence, who is a show director. And, Lawrence says one of the good things about Melbourne Expo is because it's always in the same place. Each year you can improve upon it. But as Nathan points out, which is obviously the flip side of that, he said some of the benefits of moving from city to city each year versus staying in one place is that since it's hosted by the local club over there, it gives their volunteers a rest, which they really need since it takes a lot of work to put a show of that size together.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I reckon that the Nationals over in the US would be huge. And I guess moving around in the US too, because it's a slightly bigger sort of country, it makes it easier for other people to get there who might not necessarily go there if it's in one place all the time in the US. Yep. Although I guess you could pick a spot in the middle of the US and everybody can... Let me think, what's the middle of the US? Iowa? Everybody can go to Des Moines, Iowa.
Yep.
I've been to Des Moines, Iowa. There's not a lot there apart from cornfields and it's very flat. Anyway, I'm digressing.
He is digressing. And then again,
beautiful state, Iowa. Yeah, it's a beautiful state.
I think only the Americans could probably pull off a moving national show like that.
It must take I reckon it would take a lot more to do it as a moving show than having it as a static show.
I think, like, the American people have that community mindset that really pulls it off. Like, if you were to try that here, that'd be hard to get off the ground.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It would so easily fail because of some person not pulling their weight.
Yeah, but we've got a smaller sort of gene pool here in Australia to sort of... I mean in that way. What I meant. What
are you talking about, Dave?
We've got a smaller group here in Oz, so... I don't know, perhaps in the US they've got a larger group to sort of... They can pull
they can pull more volunteers, certainly, but... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but with the food, you always got to make sure you don't feed them halfway through the judging.
Yeah, keep that
especially
to the end.
Pizza, because the last thing you want is greasy pizza fingers on someone's kit.
That would be very funny. Oh dear.
But do they still do it? Because I haven't done it for Melbourne Model Expo for a while. Do they still give out the white gloves?
They didn't have them this year. They had them every other year.
They forgot them. Someone forgot. Someone didn't pull their weight.
But the other interesting thing too that Nathan mentioned is that IPMS Nationals, USA National Judging, it's all done on the Friday night. So sometimes lasting early into Saturday morning. So usually there's a judges meeting at 6, followed by judging starting at 7 Friday, which allows judges
Jeez,
to
that'd
take
make for a
part.
long day.
Well, it does. So that allows the judges to take part in the convention during normal activities on a Saturday. And also, you don't want people judging model kits when
When the
everybody
public's
else,
there. No.
So you definitely don't want that. Because that really surprised me. And he said the cut-off time for model entries is usually 5 p.m. on Friday. People pick up their models after the awards ceremony, which is on Saturday evening, usually around 9.
Wow.
And they place the awards next to the winners after 4 p.m. on Saturday. So it sounds like Friday's your bump in which you've got to get there and register your kit and all that. And then Saturday, by 9 p.m, it's all closed up. See you later.
Yep.
And it leaves Sunday to travel back home, wherever you are in the US. So
Yes.
I thought just an interesting perspective on it. So
Totally agree, Dave.
yeah. All right, I think we need to perhaps have a quick break and then we'll come back and have a look at what's new in the modelling world. Not that there's a huge amount, but yeah, we'll be back shortly. How's that sound?
Sure.
Okay, and we're back. And before we launch into looking at what's new in the modelling world, we got a very late email came in from Kevin Footer. And Kevin runs a website and forum which is all about large-scale planes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
It's a website and forum dedicated to aircraft and helicopter modelling, 135th scale and above, although the most popular scale is obviously 132nd scale. This particular site's been online since 1999, making this year their 20th anniversary. Well done.
Well done, Kevin.
In fact, we're running a year-long group build to celebrate, along with monthly raffles, prizes donated by the likes of Wingnut Wings, Hobbylink Japan, Kinetic, HK Models, and many others. The website is quite large, with over just under 2,000 reviews have been done, 3,000 build articles and galleries, and the forums have over 7,300 members, with around 35 to 40,000 people visiting each month, and around 300 new posts daily, which is pretty good. They've also got a Facebook page, which they use just as an outreach facility only. And it's just a way for Kevin really to promote what's happening on the website and the forums. Although his Facebook page has got 5,500 members. So anyway, if any of you are interested in going along and having a look, the website is www.largescaleplanes.com. The forum is https://forum.largescaleplanes.com. And no doubt if you go to the website, they'll have a link to the forum. The Facebook page is www.facebook.com/groups/large-scale planes.
Or just go to the search bar and type in large-scale planes.
Yeah.
Also,
Also, KLP Publishing is a venture that Kevin started up in 2017 with the aim of publishing scale modelling guidebooks in e-format. And so far he's published 6 books, with another due in the next few weeks, and several more in various stages of planning. So there's the website for those digital downloads is www.klp.com.au. So we hope to get Kevin actually on the show in future programs. Just got to work out the logistics. But please, by all means, pop along, have a look at that great little site, especially if you build in 132nd scale or above. And even if you don't, just pop along and get some good ideas about
there's
model
some
building.
real quality work on that site.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for that, Kevin. And I will be in touch with you about trying to get you on the show soon. All right, gents, let's have a look at what's new in the modelling world, shall we?
Yes, we will.
And first off, let's have a look at what's coming from Italeri. If I can just get my mouse to work. Firstly, in 1/24th scale, they've announced a Mercedes-Benz Acros MP4 Gigaspace, which is a Mercedes-Benz truck. Dimensions of the model is 26.9 centimetres, which is fairly large size box. Price is going to be €66, and it's quite an attractive looking truck.
Yeah.
It's got a beautiful sort of, is that an eagle decal, would you say?
Lion.
A lion decal,
Big lion on the side of
in
it.
purple. And
It could be a wolf.
Could be.
Well, it does have wolf written on the side of it.
Oh, well, if it says wolf, yes, it's definitely a wolf.
Funny looking wolf, but anyhow, definitely go and check that out at the Italeri website. It
If you like
really
your big
good.
European trucks.
In 1/72 scale, which I suspect is probably a reboxing, it's a JU88A4.
Yep, for the War Thunder.
And as Ian says, for the War Thunder, it's called the War Thunder Edition. So they've got promotion codes in there if you play the War Thunder game. And again, we've spoken about this before, where you're getting this crossover between the gaming world and the modelling world, and it can only mean good things for us all together.
Yes.
Yep.
Which is really terrific.
Too true.
Italeri have also announced in 1/48 scale Mirage F1. Now, the Mirage F1, I've always quite liked it. It's not your traditional, the Mirage F1's not your traditional Delta wing. It's got like two, what sort of wings would you call them? Arrow sort of type wings on the side of it. I always found it a very attractive aircraft. And the schemes that they're suggesting are for the French Air Force, 1, 2, 3 different styles of camouflage and decals for it. So that looks like it's going to be a great little kit. Now we come to the bit to get Julian all excited.
Right.
In 1/35 scale, they've announced the M4A1 Sherman, which comes with US infantry. Price £36. What do you think, Julian?
If it doesn't say new tool.
No, but it says new glueable rubber tracks.
Yeah.
It's got super decals, not just decals, but super decals for 3 versions. You've got one there from the 752nd Tank Battalion of the 5th Army. Some decals there from the 32nd Armoured Regiment, 3rd Armoured Division in Normandy, France, 1944. And the last decal sheet is for the 66th Armoured Regiment, 2nd Armoured Division in France in July 1944. Now, I've got to say, those two look rather interesting because it's the olive drab hull with like some brown camouflage splotched over it. I've never seen that before on a Sherman. Looks interesting.
Oh, yeah, there was a little bit of that sort of thing that went on, yeah.
Yep. Well, there you go. But you're not sounding enthused about the actual kit itself, Julian.
Nah.
No, he's spoilt with his Tasker
That's
kits.
right. I'm spoiled. Like the only because interesting. One of the things I've been looking at lately is the Calliope. I think it's pronounced.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The one, the Sherman with the rocket battery on top.
Mhm.
Now I think Italieri do a kit of that, but there is an ancient resin conversion kit
Right.
from Verlinden.
Oh, right,
And
yes.
I'm wondering
yes.
if that might be better.
If you can still get it.
Because it's a whole bunch of pipes on top.
Yes.
And they do them in typical sort of model kit fashion where
Just
you've got
scratch
a whole bunch
build
of half pipes,
Just scratch build it.
Oh, come on.
No, it's just
There's a lot more involved in that than you think.
Yeah, it probably is. In 1/24 scale, Italeri are bringing us a Fiat 500 2007 model. Price of the kit is €29. And for those of you who like building small Fiats, you see them on the road. A lot of girls drive them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. I don't have one.
Oh, I just
You got an MX-5 that's just as bad.
that's a bit harsh. Oh, I thought
My car's rear-wheel drive.
I'm surprised you're having a crack at my Renault. Anyway.
I can if you want.
No, please don't. Let's move on. Ammo's latest products have announced 2 new publications, some paint applicators, weathering products, and lots more for June. So, first of all, they've got some basic colour sets for figures. Acrylic jars of 6 jars and 17mm with specially formulated paint for painting figures.
Oh, yep. Just basic colours by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks that way. There's a white for figures, outlining black, cyan, pure red, pure green, and pure yellow.
Pretty limited when you think about it.
Mm.
The first book is How to Make Buildings, Basic Construction and Painting Guide. Soft cover, over 160 pages of more than 900 images in full colour, available in both English and Spanish languages, priced at €24.50.
Which would be very handy for people who like doing dioramas.
So I think this is like a like sort of collaboration with Mini Art.
It looks
'cause
like it. A
they're
lot
the
of
ones-
those are mini art buildings.
Yeah.
This is interesting. They've just announced the release of what they're calling acrylic arming putty. This acrylic putty is specially designed to cover joints and defects on your models. The tube's 20 millimetres.
20 millilitres.
What did I say? 20 millilitres, didn't I?
No, you said millimetres.
Oh, did I?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 20 millilitres. Interestingly, this putty can be thinned down with water, painted on with a paintbrush, and then you use some further water just to really smooth it out. Very much like the other stuff I use, which I can't think of it. Deluxe something or other.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's a funny green colour.
Yeah,
This
it's like
putty.
an RLMO2 for those who are familiar with German interior colours.
Well, I wouldn't mind having giving this
Well,
a go.
funny, speaking of that, Putty, I saw something that I didn't realise that it makes a lot of sense this week. I think it was on Facebook. I saw it where a guy was mentioning that when you're using your Tamiya extra thin, when you get down near the bottom where your brush is getting hard to get to, drop in a few bits of sprue.
Oh yeah.
And the sprue dissolves, and you end up with a
Sprue goo.
sprue goo. Yeah.
Yep. I've got to try that.
Yeah, I keep meaning to try that.
Yeah, me too.
I think, though, you would be best using the sprue from a particular manufacturer and labelling that and keeping it aside for any of those manufacturer type kits.
Oh, right, yep.
Because your type of styrene varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. So if you're using just Airfix...
Well, you know you're going to be using the Indian.
Yeah.
Because that's all done in India now.
So what I'd do is I'd cut a bit of the Airfix sprue off, put it in there, mix it up, and I'd label it as Airfix.
Yep.
And same with Hobby Boss, etc., etc., etc.
Yep.
Because each manufacturer has, and you can tell the texture; it's always different.
Yes.
A sniper brush collection set is the next one from MIG announcement. It's a multi-purpose tool that is useful for many techniques, and the set includes 7 different types of brushes. It looks like some sort of dental applicator.
To me, they look like the old super glue applicators.
Yeah, except there's a very tiny brush on the ends.
Yeah, so were the old super glue applicators.
They're saying it can work with chipping fluids. It's great for application of pigments. You can work with either a wet or dry. Good for applying decals. Don't know how that would work. Application for specific products. And I've also got a picture of you cleaning your airbrush with it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how well that would work because I suspect the little bristles on the end of these tiny little brushes are plastic or nylon, and some
solvents will just melt
yeah,
them.
yeah, absolutely.
So be careful.
Next up, from still with MIG, World War II Luftwaffe Late Fighters Solution Book, which is multilingual. It's a book in soft cover over 70 pages in full colour, and just teaches you how to, or shows you how to paint late World War II Luftwaffe fighters. So, of course, I'd be recommending all their products in there as well, which is a really clever idea when you think about it.
It is, yes.
Second last is the first aid basic washes, and it's quite a clever bit of marketing. They've got 6 basic washes that come in a
5.
5, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beg your pardon. And they've got like a first aid sort of symbol on the front, indicating this is all you need for your basic washes type thing.
So what are you getting there?
Oh,
That's right. You get track wash, light rust wash, dark wash, streaking grime, even though this spells it streaking grime, and Kursk soil.
There you go.
So yeah, pretty much your basic colours you'd
Yep.
use.
You can use that on most things.
And following up on that, they've also releasing first aid basic pigments along the same theme with 5 basic pigments.
Yep.
And again with a first aid symbol on the front, indicating it's sort of all you really need.
Europe earth, dark earth, track rust, gunmetal, and rubble.
That's a good selection.
It is a very good selection.
I've never used their pigments. So
Yeah, I do use them a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, especially when I'm doing armour.
Do you use a fixer to fix
Yep.
them on?
Yep.
Do you use a MIG fixer?
Yep.
Okay. Rightio. what's this company we're looking at now? It is
Mantis Miniatures.
There we go. Thank you, Ian. First of all, they're doing an SS Field Gendarme Officer in 135th scale.
So basically military police.
Yep, SS military police.
Oh, geez, even tougher.
That's an interesting chain he's got around his neck.
Oh, that's the sign for the police.
Yeah,
Is it?
Military police.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that big
dog collar.
dog collar thing.
Yeah,
With the big metal plate.
Yeah, looks
Weird.
really cool. And then also they're doing in 135th scale a German soldier late war, posable as if he's got one foot up resting on a
Vehicle
or bumper bar or something.
whatever.
Yep. So if you like your figure building, check those two out. Wingnut Wings have got on pre-order now. There.
Shot with Pup Gnome.
Thank you very
The
much.
Gnome engine.
So I'm just trying to pull up some diagrams here of what it looks like. And I think you can do it in about 5 different
Usually with
styles.
Wingnuts, you usually get 5 different choices.
So the pre-order amount, now did I see the price somewhere? I thought it was about $70 or something US maybe.
No idea.
That sounds about right. But just go along to Wingnut Wings website. Pre-order. This is for their August 2019 release, I think. Probably late in August
And
release.
being Wingnut Wings, of course, 132nd scale.
Yep, absolutely. Now, this is an interesting little company I came across. I'll just jump to it now. It's a there we go. It's a company called Panzer Concepts, and I've never heard of this little group before. It's a chap who builds some really interesting stuff, and most of his kits are designed in CAD, then they're 3D printed, or laser cut and or CNC machined, and he does it all in-house, and he does do some scratch building parts as well. But the kit is things that like I've never seen before, like a 135th scale SKL-40 Bruno railgun, which looks absolutely gorgeous.
I think it's First World War railgun by the looks of it.
I'm not too sure. And that's actually his new one that's out now. We've got a couple of other little interesting kits to have a look at there. There's I can't even read. I'm struggling to read it. In 135th scale, it's a base Volmag mounting of the German 88, and any 88 will work. So I'm assuming it's just the card in the bottom is what he's actually selling.
The vehicle. You can mount the 88 too.
So that looks
It's a
really
six-wheel,
cool.
very big six-wheel German vehicle.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting little company. I definitely keep my eye open on them if you're looking for something that's
Out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and you can find them at www.panzerconcepts.com and just go along and have a look at some of the really cool stuff that they've got there.
Anything you'd be tempted to buy?
Oh, probably that Bruno railgun. That looks really cool.
It does look cool. From Germana Figuren, which is another company I've never heard of. They're doing the Lars 1, which is looks like in 1/72nd scale, a Stahlnorgan / rocket launcher.
It looks Russian to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So no more information than that other than...
It's in 72 scale.
Yeah, and the company is Germana Figuren, which I've also never heard of. Next up, we have from Temp Models in 1/72nd scale, and this will interest quite a few people. In 1/72nd scale, a SU-34. And this is the one where it's got the side-by-side cockpit, where the Russians
Like the F-111.
Yeah. Now, that kit's in 1/72nd scale, it's going to be a huge kit
It's,
because
it's a big
big
plane.
aircraft.
Yeah.
So
Does it say down the bottom there that it's originally an Italieri kit?
no.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's saying here initial release new tool 2019.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh well.
But it's one of them.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And that's all about all I've got for what's new in the modelling world. You guys got anything?
Well, next week's the big release from Airfix.
Oh yes, yeah, the
Big
yeah,
Hellcat.
the Hellcat. I saw that on
Fine Scale had
Fine
a
Scale.
preview. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was looking at it
Unboxing
going,
it.
See, I've been looking at that, and to be honest, it doesn't seem very impressive for its scale.
Well, it's a Hellcat.
Yeah, it is a Hellcat, and like if you want to build a big one, it's the only game in town.
That's it. It's got a lot of detail.
Nah. All right, look, I look at it and I'm like, it looks a lot like a 48 scale kit scaled up.
No.
It's got that kind of level of detail. Like you put next to like I mean, it's in 24th scale, right?
Yeah.
But you put it next to, say, a Tamiya Corsair, and it pales. Pales in comparison.
I still wouldn't mind getting one.
Oh, there you go.
Just get a Corsair instead. Trust me on that. I've got one.
Yeah, why don't you build it?
I've half built it.
Well, that's right.
And I'm on Harvey's with someone, so technically they should finish it.
Yes.
In other interesting news, we are about 4 days away from On the Bench's second birthday. Our first show was released on the 23rd of July in 2017. And since then, we have now done a total of 50, well, this will be our 56th show. And over 80,000 downloads, which has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been a great 2 years.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Happy birthday to us.
Yes. We.
You know,
Doesn't seem like 2 years, does it?
Well, interesting
No.
fact, Julie was only a guest for about the first 5 or 6 episodes.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, he sort of came along as a guest appearance
Yeah.
now and again. And then
he kind of just stuck around.
yeah. How did he get in? Did you?
Oh, I can't remember.
Well, you
can't
told me
remember.
first. You told me where you lived. That was
Oh, that's always the
that was
first mistake,
yeah. Second mistake was that Michelle fed you.
Yep.
So you like one of those, little stray dogs that just keeps going back.
Right, yes.
No, well, I've got to thank you two guys. It's been a great 2 years, and you've been helped make the show what it is. And,
Well, we try.
and I've certainly got to thank all our listeners out there, and just as importantly, our Patreons who support the show. It's really good.
And that was a good thing about Expo, was catching up with some of our listeners.
Oh,
that
yeah,
we,
it was.
Yep.
We
Absolutely.
had Clayton,
Yeah.
who came all the way from New South Wales.
Yeah.
And
No, Queensland. Oh, New South
No.
Wales. Clayton came from New
that
South
was
Wales.
Paul Gloucester
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
Queensland, who did really well at Expo.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he
3
did.
aircraft he entered and
Absolutely.
got 3 trophies.
Oh, there
Did
you
really
go.
well.
Let's hope for us all.
There is, there is. But no, we met so many people at Expo.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember everyone we met.
No.
It was like every half hour or something, there was someone talking to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It was really good.
Number of
Enjoyed
times I
it.
got said, "Oh, someone wants to speak to you."
Yes, yes.
And spin around like, "Oh, hello." Yeah. Shake the hand and
It's just really great too because, as I said, the show's been growing. The US is by far our biggest sort of listener audience, followed by Australia. Then I think it's the UK after that. And it's really interesting when you can see there's 3 different types of listeners. The first one is as soon as you drop a show, bang, they're on it straight away and
Yep.
listening to it. That makes up about 1/3 of our audience. The other third of our audience picks it up on the weekend directly after. So you can see like the second spike coming in of
Yep.
shows that have been
Yeah,
downloaded.
when they're modelling themselves, yep.
And the rest of you guys just sort of come in dribs and drabs for the rest of the month and sort of,
Yeah.
do it and download it as well. So you got your last third who are sort of, obviously life is busy and doing other things, but
Yeah.
they still get back to us
That's
and listen
great.
to us. So
Fantastic.
it's been a really fun ride. So
Totally agree.
we're going to be here for
As long as we can.
as long as we can.
Yes.
no plans to give up now.
No, absolutely.
That's it.
And
True,
speaking
true.
of podcasts, don't forget we have our sister show over in Canada called the Scale Model Podcast, hosted by Stuart and Anthony.
Yes.
And Anthony, here's a question to you. Ian's already started his kit for the competition. I've heard no word coming out of Canada about them starting their kit.
Yeah.
So they're getting a bit slack over there, I think. And don't forget, fellas, I'm over there in January, February, so you better have it done by then.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll have mine finished by then.
Oh, you will, yeah.
Take it with you.
No, I can't. I can't go to France first of all.
So, mascot.
Taking
take
dragging.
it with you and just have photos with it wherever you go.
How big is it?
Well, it'll be about, I don't know, that tall.
That tall. For people at home, can't see what that tall is.
I don't know. What's
6
that?
inches? 8 inches?
Yeah,
30 centimetres.
30 centimetres.
How am I going to drag a Gundam all around the world with me?
Well, everything pops off.
It will be popping off after it's been in my suitcase. Oh, gee, that's funny.
But yeah, no, we want to see that Shelby, guys. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly right. So they publish on the off week to us. So if you're after some more modelling goodness, just pop along and have a listen to
the
their
latest
show.
one. I apologise. I haven't seen it.
Latest
Haven't
show's
heard
good
it yet.
They've
But,
got a guest on, a lady who does
miniatures
and stuff.
Yeah,
And
so I'll have to have a listen to that.
Oh, I do have one other thing to mention
here
before
we
we go.
Oh,
And
Dave's found something.
this was really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a group that ran out of the University of Glasgow over the weekend, and they hosted the world's biggest ever historical tabletop war game, replaying the Battle of Waterloo.
Oh, wow.
With more than 22,000 miniature soldiers on the table. So these miniatures are about 28 millimetres high, and the figure was verified by an independent auditor. And the field was created on a gigantic historic map measuring 192 metres square,
Wow.
which recreated the Belgian battlefield of 1815. Now, the guy who was organising it, some of you may remember him. I was going to find his name again because it's going to annoy me if I don't. He's a professor actually at the university, but he's a battlefield archaeologist. Oh, come on, this is killing me now. Can't think of the guy's name. While I'm looking for it, players who took part in the game travelled from European countries, including the Netherlands, Germany, Italy, France. They came from all over the United Kingdom, Ireland, even travelled from the USA, Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore, not only to play the game, to be umpires as well. And in fact, an old army mate of mine, I found out, was over there being an umpire.
Oh, right.
So I thought it was a long way to go just to umpire a match, but geez.
Well, then again, it's a big history-making match.
Oh, Tony Pollard is the guy. He's the university's professor of conflict history and archaeology. And you may remember Tony Pollard from Battlefield
Archaeology. That BBC series.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So what a fantastic effort that was. Interestingly,
Yep.
on the back of that huge show, which I think is the world's largest ever war game that's been done with miniatures, there's an announcement that came to us from Warhammer World, which are announcing that they're going to be doing a show called, or a war game called, the Apocalypse, the biggest Warhammer game, which is taking place on the 3rd of August 2019 at the Warhammer headquarters in Nottingham, UK. So there you go. That'll attract a few people.
That will.
Yeah, it does.
Especially at the home of...
it's huge over there.
Yeah.
Especially at their headquarters there.
Oh,
so.
yeah. And they got some great stuff. I saw some photos of some of the dioramas they've got with some of their miniatures. They're just incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They got the Siege of Terror and all that sort of stuff with the giant titans. And
Games Workshop head office is where it's going to be held.
Yes.
You'd need a big floor space, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can see...
I'm pretty sure they've got a life-size, full-scale Rhino.
Space Marine at the front or something.
And a Rhino armoured vehicle.
Oh, seriously?
Tracked armoured vehicle at the front as well.
Oh, that'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Super, super cool.
Totally agree.
Anyway, if you're into that, I just want to pop along, go and have a look.
Yeah.
And congrats to those guys who pulled off the Waterloo reenactment. I think that was done for... Gee, hang on, let me think now. It wouldn't have been the 200th anniversary. It's been and gone. So, yeah, anyhow. A really great effort.
Yep.
All right, guys. Anything from you guys in closing off? Ian?
No.
Okay.
Just enjoy your hobby.
Yeah.
And remember, photo itch is your friend.
Julian?
Buy yourself a Tasker Sherman.
Oh, there you go.
How much are they?
Oh, I think I picked mine up for $60-something.
Just not a bad
Australia.
price for 148 scale.
And they're well, they're
130.
engineered. as-
135th scale, so.
Dave.
Yeah, I mean they're easy to build, accurate. You know, I think they're a better choice than any of the Tamiya kits.
Wow, that's a bold statement by Julian.
Yeah.
You heard it
Well,
here.
I mean, like, it's a tank. It's not that difficult to put together. It's got rubber tracks, and that's the best way to do a tank, and it's also the easiest way to do a tank.
Whoa. Rubber tracks are the best way to do a tank?
This tank.
Okay. All right.
This tank. But in general, though, it is the easiest way to do a tank.
Individual links are better for German tanks?
Yeah, I know, but that's not the easiest way. That's the best way to do German tanks.
Yep.
Point taken.
Yeah. So if you're gonna attempt a tank for the first time, you're probably better off doing a Sherman.
Yeah.
Easy rubber tracks.
One colour.
It's as accurate as it'll ever get.
Yep.
One colour.
Yeah, one color.
Yep. Good point.
Maybe some white stars on there and stuff. That's how they go.
Yeah. That's it.
Sign off, Julian.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention one other thing.
Yes.
So I bought some figures to go with it. I bought Tamiya figures. These are 2015. They were brought out in 2015, so they're recent figures.
Yeah.
They're not their old-fashioned clunky figures. They're their new ones.
Yeah.
Right. Really, really nice. And it's like a full tank set. So you got like a guy carrying some ammo, and you got like one for the commander's hatch, one for the driver's hatch, that sort of thing.
And you're going to put them in?
Yep.
Okay. I think... Yeah, okay. All right.
Good effort.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I'll
So
wait and
yeah, that's my new thing. I'm going to try and put figures in all of my armored vehicles
Well,
now.
that's what I do. Every time I build an armour vehicle, I've always got a figure with it.
Yeah, you stand a guy next to it, but
Yeah.
I want to actually put guys in them.
Well, I haven't built that many armour kits, but I'll do have. Well, that Super Sherman, the Israeli one, I've got two tank crew, commander, and I don't know, some other guy standing next to him inside on the top turret.
So I'm lucky that even though I'm doing a French Sherman, I don't have to buy French-specific dudes.
Because they wore American uniforms.
That's right.
Spot on.
Well, if you're really into building French tanks at the moment, when are you going to buy yourself a Panther?
I thought about that, but yeah,
Because the French used Panthers in their army after World War II.
Yeah, they did. They use a lot of everyone's secondhand stuff. But no, I don't really feel like painting 50 wheels.
Well, that's right, and not just tanks. In Indochina, they had what was it, Oscars? They had I seen a couple of French painted Oscars.
Yeah, they also had Bearcats.
Yep, in Indochina, straight after World War II. Yes, they had
Seriously?
some Oscars. Yeah,
Wow.
they were pretty beaten up.
Yeah, it would have been. Well, there you go. And they were painted with the French painting. Let's make an interesting diorama, kit.
JU 52s. Is it 52s? Yeah, the tri-motor.
Yeah.
JU 52s.
Yeah. Well, the
Whatever
poor,
they could get. Well, you think after
poor
the
old
second
French army was pretty well
gutted. The
yeah.
military was pretty much gutted after the Second World War.
Especially after the Germans had marched through as well.
Yeah, they had to take what they could get.
Yeah.
I believe the factories, I think, for the Storch were also in France.
Correct.
So all of the ones made post-war are French-made ones.
Yep.
The Fuselage Storch.
Yeah.
All right, on that note, I think we will leave it and say adios, and we'll be back with everybody in a fortnight.
Bye-bye.
Catch you later. See ya.